Hello guys. Okay, now we're gonna talk about the memory M115 and the timer 115. Now, when we are cleaning the bottles here, we set this memory and we reset it when the motor come back to the cleaning area. As we have said here, when we are in the cleaning nozzle stage, Y20 is running, M115 is also activated. It is resetted when the motor is going back towards the conveyor, which is mean when Y5 is on. Now, when M115 is activated, it activates for us the timer T115 in the condition that we have the up limit switch activated. Since it's normally closed, this means that the motor is on the conveyor at this stage. We have the motor is on the conveyor, is not doing any movement, neither towards the cleaning area, neither towards the conveyor. At this point, this timer is activated. Now, why do we use this memory and timer? Simply for the gripper. When we were activating the machine, we noticed that when the motor is going to the cleaning area or towards the conveyor, there's sometimes that the gripper opens by himself, and while he is holding bottles, it should never be open, or the bottles will go onto the floor and break up. The bottles will go into the floor and break. So we say this timer is only half a second, which means after we doesn't open the gripper immediately after the motor has arrived to the conveyor. We wait for half a second, and after that we reset the gripper to open it and let the bottles go. So if T115 is on and M116 is not working, we open the gripper. Now, as we have seen earlier, M116 is activated when the time to enter the gripper has finished, and reset it when the down flipping is happening, which is mean that as long as the bottles are not entering the gripper, we can close the gripper. You see, M116 is also only on when we have bottles going into the gripper. At this point, we need the gripper to be opened. Why? Because the bottles needs to go in. When M116 is resetted, we can do a reset to the gripper, as we can see here. Now you might ask, why did we add the up limit switch here again? Because we already have it here. Well, this actually we added for the manual part, because as we will see later, we cannot activate it, do a reset to the gripper even in the manual part unless the up limit switch is on, so if there is any bottles not to fall into the ground. Okay guys, that was it. Now we go into the manual part. Now if we open here, we need to open the DOP program. So we start from the beginning. As we said here, we have multiple memories here that we haven't explained. So the M60, as an example, is related to this page here, which we can open right now. This is the conveyor part. If we press on, it will start. If we press off, it will stop. This is a momentary button, which means that as long as I am pressing it, it will be activated. When I release my finger, it will no longer be activated. Now, this is connected to M60, as we can see here. So if we press it, we activate the conveyor, and in one condition, that M0 is not running. M0 is a start button and also an indicator for the automatic mode. So as long as we are not in the automatic mode, we can press, if we press this button, we can activate it manually. But if the automatic mode, no, it is not allowed. If we go down here, we see the same for all the other outputs. Like here, we have the M61. If we come here, we'll notice that this is connected to M61. The same goes for the Y3, for Y2, M63, M62, and all the other outputs. This is the gripper. It is connected to M64. We also have the motor. It is connected to M65 here. This is the down flipping when it goes to the cleaning area. The same goes also for the cleaning nozzles, M66. Let's actually talk about this. What did we do here? We have a set for Y20 and reset for Y20. So if for the set part, I put M66 with M0. For the reset part, I put M66 in the normally closed mode. So what this will do is, if I press it, it will be activated. When I remove my hand from the momentary button, it will be immediately resetted. In the same way, if I'm using the on and off buttons, not the test buttons, what will happen is, if I press on, it will be activated. When I press off, it will be activated. Because as we can see here, this is related to M66, but this is the state 0. This is related to M66 as well, and this is also related to M66. But the software does not change for them, because they are the same. What else do we need to explain? Okay, we have M67 here. This is for the up flipping. Here, if we can see, up and down. This is M65. This is connected to the relay that take us to the cleaning area. And this one is connected to the one that take us to the conveyor area. I think these are all the output suite that we have actually. We have something here also. This is the M115. If we can, we put it here in a normally closed status. Now this is mean if we come here back, but if we come back here, M115 is set it when cleaning nozzles is activated, and reset it when the motor is going to the cleaning area. So whenever when M115 is not activated, we are doing a reset for the motor, for the relay. So as long as we are doing a reset for the so as long as M115 is not activated, we are resetting the relay that makes the motor go towards the conveyor, which of course makes sense. Okay, now we're gonna talk about the counter. So we need a counter that counts the bottles that are being cleaned in total. To do that, this is what we have prepared. We come to this screen. This is connected to D2005, and this is a reset button that reset the counter. This is connected to M123. If we come over here, so every time we start the cleaning operation, this counter will count 1, will add 1. So it starts with 0. After that, whenever these nozzles are on, the counter will be 1. When it is on again, it becomes 2. The third time it becomes 3, and this is how it goes on. So this number here should be multiplied by the number of bottles cleaned at every time. How do we do that? Well, simply we move the number in the counter to D2010. Then we do a multiplication here between this number, this value that we took from the counter, with the number of bottles that being cleaned, and we store them in D2005. Now D2005 is displayed here. This is our counter. If we press on the reset button, which is connected to M123, we made, at this case, it means that we did a reset for the counter, and also for the D2005 and for the counter at the same time. Now we come for the emergency stop button and the phase safety that we talked about earlier. And also here we have a reset button. Now we all know the emergency button, the phase safety. These are mechanical parts that we put inside the electrical panel. This is a button inside the HMI. This is when we press it, we also do a reset for all the outputs. So as we can see here, these three, if any one of them this is of course normally closed, this is also normally closed, this is normally open. So when any one of these is activated, we can notice that we have reset all the outputs except for one, which is the gripper, because we can never, if the gripper is holding bottles, we can never do a reset for it, or the bottles will fall to the ground and break, and this is something of course we don't want. So we have finished explaining the ladder program. I hope you gained good information. This is the end of our lesson for today. Stay tuned for the next one.